That's right. We are live. Welcome to the bottom of the rabbit hole. Class is back in session. That's right. School is out for summer is over. We are back with your resident advisor, Vesuvius MXO. Say hello to the students.
Hello, class. Welcome back. It's good to be back.
Definitely good to be back. We've had not a lot. You know, this live stream is more a discussion of the lack of Matrix 4 trailer, but we got some leads. I'm sure it looks like, there's already some action going on in the chat here. Shout out to Randy Pena. Yeah, but we got some leads here. As you guys already know, there was no Super Bowl trailer. Unfortunately, there was no Suicide Squad. Matrix 4 trailer. We thought we had some good leads there, but the Suicide Squad sequel has been released and no trailer officially yet. However, there was talk of a survey that I guess the trailer was tested. I think, well, you know more about where it actually was shown, right?
I believe it was shown out in Hollywood, but it was like a trailer screening.
Right, a screening for just the trailer.
Correct. So now that happened, I think, a couple weeks back. I want to say the last week in July, and we were kind of hoping to get it around that Black Widow release, which was first week of August. So when I heard about the trailer screening, I thought it would be cutting a little bit too close for the Black Widow trailer. Release, but of course we did not get it during the Black Widow release. Or I'm sorry, I keep saying Black Widow.
Suicide
Squad. Thank you. I made that mistake last month. It's one of those things where you toggle back and forth and you keep making the same mistake. But yeah, Suicide Squad, because of course that's the Warner Brothers entity.
Well, and yeah, when it comes to that stuff, that's when my antennas or bunny ears get raised when it's Warner Brothers related, just because of all of the, Space Jam and the alleged meta references that could, spoiler alert, be in the Matrix 4. When you say Warner Brothers on top of Warner Brothers, now you've got my attention. They seem to have a pattern here.
Yeah, it was fun to see some Matrix in the Space Jam 2. They're like prepping the audience,
Okay, so I'm looking at this the first comment here from Randy. I don't know. Do you want to circle back to the survey and because he's talking about, I guess, the most recent news. Here it says, hello, it's been a while. My friends, have you heard the news? The trailer might finally arrive this Tuesday at CinemaCon, and Spider-Man trailer just leaked today. Matrix, I'm sure, is not too far behind.
Well, yes, this is why we're here.
So that's the thing. Do you want to lead with that and circle back, or do you want to start with the older news and work our way up to the present?
Well, let's kind of finish out the older news, that trailer screening, because we do have a little bit more on that with the survey questions.
True. All right. So real quick, I just want to, because, I'm really slow with the comments here. And yeah, guys, super chats have been activated. That does work. So that helps if you are like pulling your hair out to get your comment read. That's a way that'll help, flag it so that I can see it. But I did see that Kavion Davis is here. Beverly's here. So shout out to you guys. The Odd One. Appreciate you guys for coming through. Cody Norton. Hi, guys. All right, so let's get into these survey questions. I'm going to try to share the screen. Try to share the screen here. Hold on a second. Boom. All right. Can I zoom into that? There we go. Okay, so. All right, so run it down one more time, just because we, jumped around a little bit here in between. What are these survey questions? Where did this come from? And where was this scene? Oh, shout out to Matrix Spider-Man in the building. All right, I'm sorry.
So I believe it was somebody that screened the trailer. I don't have I know who sent it to me, or rather posted it in the Discord channel. And our friend's name just went by Fat, Fatt, in Discord.
But Fat saw it on some. It was what, Swag Bucks.
Yes. Yeah. So let me read what he. Let's see. So this is Dave the Impaler, I believe, on Twitter. By the way, the song playing over the trailer was familiar, but I can't find the artist and title, even when they Google and Shazam. It may be a '60s song. Okay, so yeah, that's that's a related tweet, so it may have come from the same source, which was Dave the Impaler, or Real Dave Impaler, on Twitter. But that's where Fat got it. Fat brought it to us in Discord, and that's the images that we're showing right now, or that you are showing.
All right, yeah. So we've got those up on the screen. So right, so these are the screenshots that were taken from that survey after watching the Matrix 4 trailer. So that's the thing. It was like when I first saw it, it's like, well, I didn't see the trailer, so trying to make sense of this layout was kind of confusing. I don't know if you kind of wrapped your head around it a little better than I did. So on the first one here, it says a helicopter firing bullets at a building and then firing bullets at Moss and Reeves on a motorcycle. Reeves and Moss reaching out to each other while surrounded by guards, cars exploding, and the duo riding through the mayhem. Two people in silhouette jumping off a building in slow motion. So, all right. And just for the, spoiler police out there, spoiler alert, because this seems legit. I would imagine that these are, real survey questions that we're dealing with here. So, right. So, I mean, is this like Jeopardy? Are they like, is the first half, are we forming the answer in a question? Like, what's happening here? Right. It says Reeves sitting in a bathtub, Reeves shaking hands with Moss in a cafe, Reeves holding a blue pill in his hands as a woman offers another man a red pill, a person shooting and running alongside a wall, Reeves looking at Groff's sewn up lips as he's talking to him.
So it looks to me, since we have 4 options that are checked off, that it's some kind of checklist. I hate to overstate the obvious, but I'm just going to take a guess and say that there was a question that isn't shown here, and it actually may be in a different slide, because it looks like they were taking screenshots as they were scrolling on their phone. So it's probably a question like, what made sense, or out of these options, what made sense, what did not make sense. So I'm just kind of speculating on that question, but I think there was some kind of question that says, looking for feedback, and they selected certain options.
All right, so let's just jump through these if we can here. Why is that not working now? Can I not? So it will not let me do that when it's zoomed in. Okay. So the next slide here, because this is the order that they were posted in Discord, right? So, like you said, to your point, right? But to your point, that might not be the order that it was actually presented, right? Because here it says below is the list of scenes from the video you just saw. Please tell us how you feel about each of them. 2 cars crashing in the street and a motorcycle hitting people. Loved it, liked it, neutral, no effect, didn't like it. Right, and now you get into what looks like more of the last slide, where it says Reeves being presented with a trophy, a man preparing to jump off a building, Reeves walking through green code on a city street and then looking at an old book, Reeves watching old footage of himself. So that's interesting. I mean, I feel like that last line definitely goes with stuff that we've talked about in other live streams, right? From people who allegedly saw a test screening. Yeah, I'm being real careful with my words here too. Right. So Reeves walking through green code on a city street and then looking at an old book. That the whole, walking through the green code visual, that's my first time seeing or, hearing anything about that. I don't know if you had come across anything that talked about that specific effect, but that, when I saw it just there, I got a picture in my mind's eye of what that would look like on the screen, and I'm like, right, I haven't seen that anywhere. The man preparing to jump off a building, I think we saw some of that in the San Francisco leaked footage, of fans taking footage of them shooting in San Francisco, and you can see all those clips from Twitter and Instagram and the compilation videos here on this channel. But in one of them, there's definitely the man preparing to jump off a building shot. And that's separate from the Trinity and Neo jumping off the building. That's the one that kind of went viral, right? And then Reeves being presented with a trophy. I have no idea what that's in reference to, but.
Yeah, so I haven't heard anything about him walking through Green Code, but there's enough like footage of him, in the crowd. Like I think he has like a beanie hat on, and he just it looks like he's lamenting. But if I place him in Green Code, it could be him just kind of like rediscovering it or something. Like I could see the expression on his face relating to that.
But what I was gonna say, right? Also, here, what I started with, the end, the Reeves watching old footage of himself. I think that's going towards what we heard about there being references to the previous trilogy, right? But before I jump to the next slide, just make sure you like the stream, guys, on your way in. I see here. What did I see here? I saw Astro Ice. Shout out to Astro Ice. Said school's back in session. Missed you, bro. I missed you guys too. Let me jump to this next slide before I get into all that. Yeah, Beverly, we're gonna jump into our trailer leads in a minute here once we get through these different survey slides from the trailer. Okay, so see, that's the one I started with. Okay, so now it says, right, okay, so this is a continuation of where we just left off. So a woman and a man tumbling off a building. Reeves wearing a virtual reality headset as he smokes a cigarette. That's an interesting visual. Very Johnny Mnemonic like, right?
Yeah, it's like a callback.
You feel me? Like they're definitely playing on that, which I think is cool because to me that is definitely the role that prepared or most made my mind ready for Neo in the Matrix. Yeah, I dropped a little of those parallels in the Holy Trinity video, which I keep going back to. I don't know if you noticed that in conversations in lore or about the Matrix lore, I'm always pointing to that video like, dude, I definitely talk about this in detail. All right, so the next slide here, it says a woman ushering Reeves through a door and him entering a new place where Moss is welding. I could definitely see Carrie-Anne Moss as a welder on screen.
We've seen her welding. We've seen her
Facts.
welding before.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah, I think that was like her real world introduction. Like Morpheus went to get Neo and explained a couple of things to him, and then brought him out to the main deck, introduced the crew, and she was welding.
Mm-hmm. Right, she lifts up the mask.
Yep.
Reeves grabbing Moss's hand and Moss vanishing as she turns into melting pixels. Okay, so that's more visual CGI stuff going on, right? A man putting his finger through a mirror and pulling it back in shock. So that sounds like a callback to the original Matrix film after Neo takes the red pill. Which it's interesting to me because that visual, like in one of the Wachowski interviews when they were explaining, like, I guess why they went with that look, they didn't say what I was thinking, but it's definitely a memorable look. Like, I felt like there's so many things that like had like multiple layers or like this extra meaning. I felt like that didn't have that, but it still was very impactful and memorable. Just trying to find my place here.
Well, the next one.
This please select liked it to mark your place in the survey. That
Yeah, that's probably why those 4 things are checked off and the other 2 aren't.
Right, because they already they grabbed those blue ones. So all right, I'm gonna read this. Reeves looking at pills while held at gunpoint. A movie poster for The Matrix 4 being flipped over in a store.
Hey, we got a poster for The Matrix 4.
So hold on, let's go back to the question, right? Because you brought up a good point. He selected these 4. Okay. But the question is, or what it's asking you to do is below is the list of scenes from the video you just saw. Please tell us how you feel about each of them. And it has the loved it, liked it, neutral, no effect, didn't like it. But then these are selected. So you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like there's still something in the flow missing here. Let me just right, because that's the same one we were looking at before, yeah. Okay, this one I don't think I read these, right? Okay, right. This is where we stopped. So a movie poster for The Matrix 4 being flipped over in a store. Reeves eating by himself. An explosion rocking Reeves forward. 2 people falling off a building into a green abyss. Interesting. A woman walking through a mirror with a gun and another man putting his arm through a bathroom mirror as Reeves points. Reeves putting his own hands through a mirror and pushing through red liquid on the other side. 2 cars crashing in the street and a motorcycle hitting people, which I'm sure we've seen in the San Francisco leaked footage stuff. Reeves pushing a group of officers back with the movement of his hands and Reeves stopping bullets with his bare hands. So yeah, we definitely saw that in the San Francisco leaked compilations. There was definitely, you know, that kind of Jedi Force looking hand movement and what looked like SWAT or something, you know, being stopped by that. So that we kind of saw already in the leaks there. But you know, that's why I think this, whatever this is legit, you know.
Yeah, I think the mob is going to be called the Swarm Runners or the
right.
Swarm.
Yeah, with the credits in the IMDb credits, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of tidbits here. I mean, we could probably do a whole episode on just speculating for all of these options. But man, I tell you, if I took this survey, I think it would all be blue. I'd select everything.
Yeah, I mean, I wish, of course, I wish I saw the trailer and was able to participate. Yeah, so a couple of these images are duplicates, so that's what's going on. You know, they're overlapping to kind of show you the flow. Yeah, so I'm not real sure about like how it worked still, because you still got the, you know, loved it, liked it, neutral, didn't like it. So I guess when you highlight one of them, then you pick one of those. I'm not sure.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah. Astro also says, my guess is Reeves getting a trophy for best video game or something like that.
Game Awards?
Or, well, he's supposed to be like a game developer, right?
Yeah, he's probably working on the Matrix Online too.
Right? So we need a release date on that, Mr. Reeves. Did you fill out your TPS report? Interesting. It seems that leak might be plausible. All right, so let's circle back to I mean, unless there's something else you wanted to discuss with the survey.
Well, it's just I had mentioned before that the timing of the survey and the screening kind of gave me, you know, my spider sense went up. No pun intended about that releasing, because it was very close to that Suicide Squad release. So I was kind of hyped for it because that's what I heard from Midnight. It was attached to that Suicide Squad, but you know, no dice there. The wait continues.
Yeah, I mean, we shared that information with all the disclaimers. There were no promises, but I was with you. It seemed like a good lead. It felt like it was possible, especially with the Warner Brothers link there. The Spider-Man link is more the release date, right? Because Spider-Man's supposed to come out in December as well.
Yeah, about a week before the Matrix 4.
Right, and that trailer leaked today or yesterday.
Well, I actually just found out right before we started recording, and the video that I saw on YouTube said 7 hours ago. So, I mean, we're looking at like noon. For
Today.
me, Eastern Standard Time, it's 9:30 p.m. Yeah, we're looking at like noon, 1 o'clock, 2 p.m.
Okay. So yeah, so with that said, let's circle back to Beverly's question. I don't know that I'll be able to find it here. Right, here we go. Found it. Does anyone know of anything new for a trailer? I've seen clips. So,
oh, you've seen clips?
That's what her statement says.
Well, let's get Beverly on the microphone here. What clips have you seen?
Well, what I was going to pull up here was this, which is actually, you need to explain this because at LZATYT on Twitter tagged us in it. I saw Warner, but right, this is the CinemaCon thing. Right.
This is their CinemaCon.
Yeah, tweet says Warner Brothers have an event at CinemaCon on Tuesday where in all likelihood they'll finally be showing Matrix 4. I hope it leaks. All right, so explain what this CinemaCon thing is.
Okay, so CinemaCon is kind of like, I guess, a little convention. That would be what the con is short for. But it's for like press. So there's a bunch of YouTubers, the big YouTubers that I follow, particularly pertaining to the Marvel Universe, are all over this thing in regards to Spider-Man No Way Home. So now that we see that they're having Warner Brothers, it's like, okay, well, if we're only a week apart from No Way Home, then this feels very much like Matrix 4, where we could get something for the Matrix 4. So 5 to 6:30 p.m. I believe it's out in California. So
what's the date? What day is it again?
Okay, so the date's the only thing that I'm not 100% on, because I've heard Monday and I've heard the 24th, and I believe
right, because he said Tuesday. Yeah,
Tuesday is the 24th. So I've heard two different things, but more information is coming up all the time. So it's more than likely the Tuesday, but I will keep my eyes peeled on Monday.
Now, as far as, so I guess my thing is, it's basically because Warner Brothers is there and we know that there's going to be, press there. And, these are, I guess, the people that they're cool with leaking stuff to, right? That's, I get, you know what I mean? Like, that's the jump to Matrix 4 trailer being shown. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only thing that we have to connect the dots is just the timing.
Yes, the timing. But, there's other speculation as well.
Like, I guess what I'm asking is, like, do they have a track record, or is this like a usual spot to debut a trailer or something like that? You know what I mean? Like, is this something that they do often at a CinemaCon? I don't know anything about CinemaCon. That's why I'm like very curious as to how this plays out.
So CinemaCon is kind of new for me as well. But a couple of days back, I was watching the YouTube, and I believe it was the New Rock Stars, and they were talking about CinemaCon and how whatever I can't remember the details, but the trailer was shown and leaked because like it'll say right on this picture that you have up on the screen, no recording devices, no electronic devices, audio or video.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, but it leaked, and then I think within either 12 or 24 hours, the studio released it online.
Okay.
Because it's already out there. It's crappy. Put the other one out there. You've already shown it. Put the real one out there. So that's what they've had. in the past, and I believe it was in reference to last year's. So, hopeful again that this could be it. Now, it doesn't mean that we're going to get the trailer. We could get the title. We could start off real slow and just get the title.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see like like if they do like a different like how they have the Warner Brother intro into the title thing, you know what I'm saying? Like if they do like a different one of those, that could be all we get. I could definitely see that being a thing where you get some Matrix code and the title Resurrections, like as if that hadn't leaked already.
Yeah, what I really want is for them to release some kind of code for us to crack, and then cracking
Oh,
the
that would be
code
fun. Yeah.
would be a link to the trailer, and then of course I'll be
Yeah,
the
well,
first to share it.
that'll leak. Yeah. Beverly says, yes, I've seen clips off YouTube and a few other sites. So yeah, we're gonna need to check those links out and provide some feedback as to what you're looking at there. Randy Pena said Lauryn Hill had some very interesting lyrics in her new songs recently. Yeah, so I believe that's the Steve Scroce and why is his name escaping me? The lead storyboard artist, Jeff
Darrow?
Darrow, thank you. Yeah, that interview, it's the Wolverine thumbnail. Right, they were talking about the different people that would come by the Wachowski's office, and Lauryn Hill. He told a story of Lauryn Hill coming and playing music. She didn't actually run into the Wachowskis, but he got to meet her, which was cool. So yeah, I didn't see anything that necessarily ties her new song to the Matrix specifically, but that would be a cool, full circle for her as an artist and Matrix fan. Legacy Zero, what's up? I'm gonna go yellow pill though, if we're talking colors of pills.
Yeah, I'll go red pill. Legacy, what's going on? Why the blue pill? Are you a Cypherite?
Cypherites in their bandana masks. Yeah, we're gonna be discussing a green pill in the future, but I digress. Astro Ice says, how can they actually enforce that no recording thing? I mean, they try to, if they see you with your phone, some guys, some security give you a warning, some security will just kick you out,
3 letters, EMP. No, I'm sure they just collect the phones.
Yeah,
and,
I think
probably small groups too.
Yeah. Yeah, something like this. You said it's in Hollywood, so right? The Coliseum, yeah. That's LA. So it's probably very invite only.
Yeah, so you had mentioned that, they give some previews to certain people, and I think it's particularly new rock stars, which probably my favorite Marvel related YouTube channel. Those guys are great, but they'll get something in advance and they'll prep their video, and then once the official stuff drops, like first episode or the movie drops, then boom, their video review hits YouTube. So I'm not quite there yet. I think you're getting very close to getting that status, but it's cool that the studio does that, and they work with YouTubers and other press and fans.
Oh, well, I mean, I hope you're right. I think there's a ways to go here, but yeah, shout out to Beverly, who is a proud yellow pill. Kavion's with you. He's on Team Red. It's good to be back. Missing No Film says, how late am I? You are technically 30 minutes late, but here at Matrix University, there is no downgrading for going back and watching the stream from the beginning on your own time to get caught up. So, you can always go back and watch the playback to see what you missed. But we appreciate you for being here in real time. It's always cool to mingle and chat and get you guys' feedback and talk to you in real time with the, delay of the internets. But right. But since you just got here and anybody else who's joining us late, please make sure you like the stream and, support the channel that way. Help other potential red, yellow, and even blue pills find their way down here at the bottom of the rabbit hole to chop it up with us. And, I feel like this experiment has gone quite well. We've put together a lot of information as a community, as a crowd sourcing unit. So I'm proud of what we've done, sharing information on this topic together, because that was the goal, or one of the goals. And, some kind of cool things have happened over the last 2 years. It's always kind of crazy to me to think that it's been that long. But yeah, man, here we are. We're wrapping up our second summer, and ideally we will have a Matrix 4 to watch in December and a trailer to watch even sooner than that. And that's what we're here to discuss, is what is going on with this trailer and when are we going to get a piece of it. Right now, we're only getting sprinkles and teasers. Randy here says that CinemaCon usually has a lot of superhero trailers and brand new trailers. Matrix fits in perfectly. So that's our leading speculation right now, is that CinemaCon will be this upcoming week, either Monday or Tuesday. And hopefully we will have a trailer to discuss. Of course, I'll be out of town, but that won't matter. I'll have my computer with me. So if it does drop on Tuesday, we will be talking about it on Tuesday night for sure. Same would go for Monday.
So say it drops at 5 p.m. We're Easterns. That would be, 8 p.m. for us?
Right. So it'd be evening anyway, which is better for me. Take two RK says, excited for trailer. I hope they don't leak the damn trailer like Spider-Man. Oh, Legacy said, I forgot I tagged y'all in that tweet. No, we are out here talking about it, man. Thank you for giving us that heads up there. Right, that was a couple days ago. They're all kind of running together for me. It's Sunday now, so that was it's Friday. I work weekends, so it's hard to get live on Fridays and Saturdays for me usually, but I mean even Sundays. But this Sunday, because I'm traveling tomorrow, I actually had some time this evening, so I was like, you know what, let's get our resident advisor on the horn here and discuss this stuff before I roll out, just because it'd been a while since we got live, and the CinemaCon thing seems to have some legs. So I thought it was worth sharing with you guys. So that way, if we do have a trailer on Tuesday or Monday or whatever day CinemaCon is next week, you guys will have had the heads up here. J-Line says, do the sprinkles and teasers go with a cake? I'm not sure, but I think I saw something about free cookies. You must accept them everywhere you go, however.
Yeah, so Legacy Zero also posted on Reddit. So big shout out to all the Matrix community members over on Reddit. A lot of good conversations going on Reddit. So now, I had commented over there. What's that?
Now I was going to say, is it the same name? Is it Legacy Zero on Reddit as well? Because his YouTube and his Twitter are different. So that's why I'm asking.
Legacy 01 on Reddit.
I like the 0-1 reference. I see what you've done there. It says, haha, cookies made with love. I don't know if those internet cookies have love in them, but you definitely have to accept them to do anything. So. Right. And the only other thing I saw since the last time we went live, I saw something about Yahya Abdul Mateen II teasing an ambitious film. I mean, it looked like the same quotes that we had already seen. So I didn't go hard with, making a video for that. I thought that was a topic that we already kind of touched on. And like you said in the prep, he wants to talk about it. He can't talk about it. So that's where we're at.
Of course he wants to talk about it. Yeah. Of course he wants to talk. And hey, speaking of Yahya, I just saw a trailer or a clip maybe of the Candyman.
Candyman, yeah.
Yeah, and that looks good.
Now, is that an HBO Max? Who has that?
That's a good question. I should probably know these things.
I mean, I should probably know these things. I do want to watch that, though. I'm a big Tony Todd fan. Candyman is one of my favorites. And I kind of want to see Yahya in that before Matrix 4. I mean, I've seen him in other stuff. I saw The Get Down and what else have I seen him in? Definitely seen him in a couple of things.
Yeah, so he was Black Manta in Aquaman.
There you go.
Which I actually thought that he and his father kind of stole the show in that movie. I liked that dynamic. And I've only seen that like once or maybe twice, but I still think that the thing with him and his father being sea pirates, they kind of ran away with the show there. Aquaman, not as good as I'm told it is, but certainly a passable DC movie.
All right, he's Dr. Manhattan in the Watchmen HBO series. I haven't seen that yet. I'm waiting till I get my HBO Max and then I'll double back and watch that. I'll just binge it real quick. Right, because I'm waiting for the Many Saints of Newark.
The Sopranos.
Yeah, when that drops, that's when I'll get my HBO Max subscription for Matrix 4. Like, I'll get it a couple months early for that. I'm fine with letting it, stay those couple months. That's the thing. That's the whole game. That's why I've always said, like, it would not surprise me if they push back the Matrix 4 date, because there are people who signed up to HBO Max just when they heard it was announced that it was going to be on. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have had it for months just because Matrix is coming out in December. So
I hear the subscriptions have started to slow and they're kind of flatlining. But now I got a call from, so I have DirecTV, and they called and they tried to sign me up for HBO Max, which we actually already have. I think we just have it through the app. And I told them, like, there's only one movie that I'm really waiting to see, and that's Matrix 4, and I'm going to the theaters. So that ended that conversation real quick.
Oh, speaking of theaters, Q Gross says Candyman is in theaters. I'm guessing he means right now. So then that means it's not an HBO Max. Like, it's not going to HBO Max, because if it was the HBO Max, you know what I mean? They'd be doing the simultaneous. It'd be both. I don't know I don't know who the distributor is for that. So that's why I don't know where it's going.
Well, let's see what Google's got to say.
Randy says, interesting on how box office wise Matrix is going to work out, because Spider-Man and Shang-Chi are going to be theater only, and many of the streaming movies are not doing as well. Well, that's the thing. That's where I'm very curious and I question, because to the point that you just made, if they stay on course, if they stay on the December 22nd plan, then they are going to be a streaming release. It's going to be dual theatrical and streaming. So that would give it the abysmal numbers that we've been seeing. I mean, it's Matrix, so it'll probably be the best of the abysmal numbers that we've been seeing from the movies that have been released on streaming services. But I don't know. This is why I'm so conflicted about the possibility of it being delayed again. because to your point, if it is theater only, it's just I think it's going to make more revenue. That's just me personally.
And this is telling me that Candyman will release August 27th, and it does not say if it's an HBO Max.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think it's a Warner film. Does it say it's Warner?
Production companies: Monkey Paw Productions, Braun Studios. Why wouldn't it lead with one that I'm familiar with? MGM, Universal.
Okay, Universal. So right, Universal, Sony. That's all the same thing, right?
No idea.
I don't want to say pretty sure, but I think so. I think Universal is Sony, and Sony is Universal when it comes to movies. I think so. But the 27th is this weekend. That's Friday. So, did I read this? Do you think it's good play releasing big scale movie like Matrix 4 on HBO Max simultaneously with its theatrical run? I personally think that's a horrible idea. Yeah, I think he might have sent that before I started talking about it, just because I get lost in these comments. Like just right now, like I just touched it and it scrolled all the way down. So like all the comments in between that one and the last one I didn't see.
I don't like it. I think that it's going to hurt the theatrical release and the return on investment for the filmmakers, possibly even the studio. I mean, I got to think that the studio has got a plan. They're going to be getting dollars per click when these things are watched, but we do have that Scarlett Johansson. She's suing Disney, and apparently it's over a theatrical release. Was there no theatrical release for Black Widow, and exclusively Disney Plus?
I'm not sure. I
I
feel like
think
you can
that's
go
what it's
see that in the
about.
theater, but you might be right. Maybe it was only Disney Plus. I thought you could go see that in the theater though if you wanted to.
They might just
Yeah,
release it select just to get out of this lawsuit.
because I thought I saw it on that list. Remember, I was talking about that really terrible list of revenue from the movies that came out in streaming services. I think that was on the
Yep.
list. So I think it was dual. I think it was Disney Plus and theaters. Yeah, that's what Randy's comment here says. Warner is going to lose a lot of money for the streaming. Disney is already having a problem with Scarlett Johansson. And that's the thing. I mean, I don't know the details of her contractual language, but if she's suing, then, there's something in there in the contract that can be challenged in this awkward situation here.
And this is the first one. There'll probably be more. And the more lawsuits there are, the more legitimacy there will be to them.
Well, like I said, it's an awkward time, but that's the thing. That's why you got to have a good entertainment lawyer, because if she wins, then that means her contractual language was set up to protect her, and if she loses, then it wasn't. I lost the. Says I might just fight somebody for a teaser poster at this point, my dudes. Astro Ice says, I wonder if Dune's performance will change things. An event Dune does really well or badly. That's a good point. My whole Matrix 4 delay or delayed release date speculation might be predicated on how well or poorly Dune does, because Warner, I'm sure, is keeping a close eye on that. And I know Dennis Villanueva was upset about how things are playing out, but that's definitely coming out before Matrix 4. So it might be a good barometer to see where things are going to go here. Okay, here. See, here we go with the jumping of comments here. Says it's a good sign if they decide to delay. In my opinion, the movie is obviously good enough to be worth the revenue from theater profits. Yeah, I mean, Legacy Zero mentioned it in this live stream. I've seen other people mention it on Twitter and other live streams. People will go to the theater to support this film. I mean, people want to see it on the big screen. Yes, there are people who are more than comfortable watching it at home. I get that, but there's definitely a fan base, a sizable fan base who want to support this in the theater. And Astro Ice says what I said as soon as they said the whole HBO Max thing. He said, I'm worried about the pirating aspect too. You know, it's definitely a license to steal if that's the way this goes.
Yeah, that'll be on the dark web in a matter of hours.
Hours. Thank you. Like hours, not even days, hours, like 3-4 hours, man.
That movie's going to be probably 2 hours and 15 minutes, like the 3 previous movies.
That's what I'm saying. They got to rip it in real time so they don't lose any quality, right? But then after that, it's open season.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, about 2.5 hours. It'll be, it will be making the rounds.
Kavion Davis says, have you ever seen show Buffy the Vampire Slayer? I've seen a couple of episodes. I've obviously, or not obviously, but I've definitely seen the original film with Swanson. Was it Christy Swanson, right? Christy Swanson.
Yeah, Christy Swanson.
Paul Rubens is in there dying for like 10 minutes. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah. Long hair and a beard. Like, yeah, so right, the vampire thing. I am a huge vampire fan. Actually, I don't want to put too many ideas out there right now, but yeah, I think that there is a good, like, I love what the Oracle said about the whole vampires, werewolves, and all that, and Reloaded. So I think there's a huge potential. I'll just leave it that way, to play with Buffy flavored things in the Matrix universe, and I'm just going to stop there with that.
Well, we had a lot of vampires in Enter the Matrix. I think there was some special animations where you could do like the Mortal Kombat leg sweep and then jump up and come down with the spike.
With the stake.
Stake, thank you.
Yeah. Right, with Niobe or Ghost. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, you were in the Merovingians mansion for a while. Yeah, trying to get the Keymaker.
Merv's got to get his own series.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, they played with it. You're right. They did play with it more in Enter the Matrix, and we even got some vampire looks in the Matrix Online, right?
We did.
But I guess what? See, I said that's all I'm gonna say about it. You still got me talking about it. So I'll just say there's potential for a niche within the niche. Like, it could be a thing if done properly.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, nowadays, like, movies and shows are like really good. Like, people don't make crap anymore. You know, like, you don't have to sit down and watch.
There's still crap being made. There's still crap being made.
There's not.
I think it's genre. It's more genre specific, but.
But even still, look at the Sharknado movies. People freaking love those.
No, I get what you're saying.
And they're terrible.
There's been, when we were growing up, there was definitely like a huge drop off between cinema movie quality and TV quality, right? Like, you could just tell that there wasn't as much time put into script writing or whatever. Now, streaming services, I mean, some of these shows are little movies. I mean, like, we're talking about Disney Plus. Look at, Loki and Winter Soldier. I mean, those are basically like 8-hour movies that they split up into episodes.
Incredible.
So, which maybe they should have done with Suicide Squad. I digress.
Are we going to get into Suicide Squad?
No.
Okay.
But no, to your point about the stream. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So you're just gonna let me paint the picture, right? Well, I haven't written anything, so if it gets stolen, here we go. So you're talking about a streaming service. So that's what I mean. You can have a vampire genre show, like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I mean, I'm just using Buffy as an example because that's what Kavion got this whole ball rolling with, right? But you could have a Buffy flavored Matrix stream. So you could have, I mean, like I said, Buffy's just the example, but you could have a, like the kid, teenager in the Matrix, but they're fighting vampire programs. This is just the Buffy crossover version of it. But that's what I'm saying. Ultimately, what I'm trying to articulate here is there's so much room in the Matrix universe for those kind of things, for different streaming show ideas and spin-offs that can play within the Matrix universe and not necessarily be dependent on a Neo Trinity storyline.
Yeah, the main audience has really got to get over Keanu Reeves holding their hand every step of the way through the Matrix. From the beginning, they started developing other characters. Obviously, Trinity and Morpheus are very strong characters, but the first video game was Neo wasn't even, there was no character model for Neo in Enter the Matrix. There were rumors where if you beat it on hard or whatever. No, there was no Neo whatsoever.
Legacy Zero says he needs a Path of Neo remaster.
I'm hearing that a lot. I think that'll happen.
Well, I've always voted that if a video game's going to happen, it's probably going to be a console. Okay, so Astro Ice here says Bad Blood is having a reboot on HBO Max. Neo can pop in. Bad Blood, you mean True Blood? Because I do think I read something maybe like a year ago that they were going to get another True Blood going.
Like a reboot series or just like another season?
Well, see, that's the thing. So that was the series finale. So I'm guessing it's going to be all new characters. And the main reason why I'm saying that is because how I found out was one of the old characters was like, "Hey, you guys are doing another True Blood and nobody said nothing to us." Like, so yeah, they moving on without you. I think that was Anna Paquin, yeah, who played like Suki, the main character. But spoiler alert, there was definitely closure in the series finale. Like, I don't think they need to tell more of that group. I totally hated that it ended. I wanted it to keep going, but like I said, with that ending, if they're redoing it, they got to do a different town or a different story or a different main character. But yeah, back to, but that's a perfect example. I mean, that's the kind of crossover stuff that can certainly be facilitated within the Matrix universe. I wouldn't vote for a Neo cameo, but like a Merovingian cameo, or even better, a Persephone cameo. Oh yeah, that can run.
Woo! I saw a great meme today. Did you see that meme I shared in Discord? Where you got the Merovingian in Club Hell sitting next to Persephone.
I saw that. That was great.
And over him,
that was genius. That was genius.
It says like the movie that you want to watch, and then over Persephone it says the subtitles, just drawing your attention. Yeah, I do that all the time. So that one hit home.
Did you ever put it? You just put it in the Discord? Did you put it on Instagram or Twitter?
No, I swiped it from someone on Instagram. I think it's Matrix USSR. Who?
Okay.
Yeah, I get mixed feelings about, but credit on that one. Good meme.
Yeah, but you guys make sure you're following Vesuvius on Instagram and Twitter. He's always got daily content, and even it's good to just in case something were to happen. I know we hadn't done a live in a while. I mean, you had been doing some stuff, right? You did a couple of podcasts and stuff, right?
Yeah, I did a podcast with so back when the Matrix Online was first starting, and it was under Monolith Productions. It was in beta. It was in beta for quite a few months because production kept getting, or the release date kept getting pushed back. So there was a radio station that cropped up called Radio Free Zion, and it was like a real freaking radio station. It was just online, and it was dedicated to the Matrix Online, and that catapulted the community, like
I
instant
definitely feel like that
community.
it was like they were like kind of pioneering in that space too. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't a thing yet when that was going on.
See, I didn't know that, and you know, I was not an online gamer. Like I was just there for the Matrix. Like I bought my way into beta. I didn't get selected as a beta tester. So I kind of I like had some trouble, but like Radio Free Zion was like a big deal. So we've been searching out the guy who started it, named DJ Sundog. We came across DJ Fire, who was there from the beginning, played the game the whole way through. So we got with DJ Fire. We did about an hour long podcast and just talking about the trials and tribulations of doing a radio station, and just some other Matrix stories, and talking about the lore of the game. And DJ Fire is actually a very intelligent and uh, tech savvy and successful guy. So check that out. Especially if now I've been getting a lot of questions because I have that install video on for the Matrix Online emulator, and I've actually got a lot of questions on can you do this on Mac. And after talking to DJ Fire, I know that you can download DJ Fire software, which is it's like a conversion program, so you can run Windows and Windows programs on your Mac. Now I have to
Yeah,
look it up.
I know a couple of people in the Discord have got it to work on the Mac, which when they were talking about how they got it to work, I'm like, yeah, you're definitely talking way over my pay grade. I have no idea what you're talking about. But real quick, Legacy Zero said Atari simply wasn't the best developer to give Path of Neo to. I can think of a few better ones. Stuff like that, corporate. You know what I mean? But Astro Ice said, kind of echoed what we were talking about. He said, first time I heard radio on the internet, and he's talking about Radio Free Zion. So I mean, think about that. Just think about that statement. Like that's really cool. At that time I wasn't thinking of it. But like for example, Ventrilo, right?
Yeah.
That was my first time using any type of vocal communication in a video game. Like at the time, I think Madden, you could plug in a headset and play online, but I never did that. Like first of all, I wasn't buying a separate headset for that. And second, I didn't want to hear some kid screaming touchdown in my ear. Right. So the Matrix Online was my first like group chat kind of video game experience. And, to Astro Ice's point, I mean, this was all new for us at that time. Like it was, like I said, pioneering that kind of space in gaming. So yeah, I'm really glad I got to be a part of that, and I'm really glad that you're taking the time to preserve all of that stuff. It's just a special time for me, man.
Yeah, it's exciting now with the movie coming out. If the Matrix Online, which I think is a pretty good storyline, if it remains canon, then it's for good reason. If it's not, then I'd be a little bit disappointed. But it is what it is. Can't take away the good times we had playing the game, and certainly give my due to Rarebit and Paul Chadwick for writing that story.
Yeah, shout out to the big homie. Shout out to Rarebit. He still got his Supermassive Black Hole comic that he works on. Shout out to Chadwick. He jumped in our live stream a couple months ago, so that was pretty cool to chop it up with him in here in in the lecture hall of Matrix University, right? But yeah, those guys gave us a world to play with for what? How long that run? 4 years?
Yeah, about 5 years.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years. So no, I appreciate it. And it also inspired some other things. I mean, there are fan fictions that are already online, that have like Matrix Online screenshots as part of the imagery and all that stuff. But right. That's going to be my segue into David. David's comment here said, I missed these lives. Thanks for being back. It's good to be back. I missed you guys too. Just since we're here talking about it, I mean, I've been spread too thin all summer. You know, once the doors kind of opened back up, things went from 0 to 100 real quick. But what was going on over here was I ordered a new laptop, and because of the whole microchip situation, I guess there's like a shortage of microchips because of everything that's happened over the past year or so, right? Now I heard about it, something related to cars. I thought it was just like car microchips or car computers. I didn't realize it was like everything. So I had this custom laptop built, right? But I had to wait. Like they gave me a date for it to be shipped, and like every week I get an email saying, "Oh, it's going to be another week. Oh, we're still missing something." They weren't specific, but I put one and one together and figured it was the whole microchip shortage thing. So while that was being delayed, my at the time my present laptop just completely crashed, completely died. So then the new one decided to show up. So there was that like overlap of not having a machine and then having to get the new one up to date. And thankfully, a lot of my stuff was backed up, but like my presets and video stuff, I had to dig that out of the old hard drive. And there's just it was just this whole process. But like I said, we're back. It is definitely good to be back. It was difficult to work through that, but I am here. And for all you guys out there, back up everything. Like if you have important stuff on your computer, if you haven't backed it up to your cloud, or if you don't have a cloud, get an external hard drive. It's worth it. Just cover yourself. But yeah, I'm back up and running now. And excuse me, as those of you who have been here, who've been coming to class regularly, I'm working on something special. I'm cooking up something special for you guys. I'll be honest, it's for me too. I'm really having a lot of fun working on this. I really think it's going to be something special. So stay tuned.
Can't wait.
Yeah, Astro says cloud backup is so worth the price. I'm telling you, after what I just went through, like I'm totally agree. And thank you, Beverly, for your continual support. I definitely appreciate all you guys for checking us out. Yeah, so you should probably tweet out that that Radio Free Zion podcast you were plugging earlier, just so people can find it easily. But yeah, that was a good discussion that you guys had. Is there anything else that you're working on?
Well, I did finish the Matrix Online Ability Tree poster.
And I did purchase the digital download. It is awesome. Nice job.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Yeah, I put a lot of work into it. Very happy with how it came out. And you were talking about fan stories earlier. And so I wrote a story a few years back when the Matrix Online was up and running, and I was playing every day. So I came up with a little story about a kid who wants to hang around with the Oracle's potentials. So I have my daughter doing her first voice acting and voiceover gig, so she's going to voice that.
Nice.
And it's a nice little story, and that'll be available for a small fee soon. I'm editing it now, and be done with it pretty soon.
Very, very cool. That reminded me of something, but then I just forgot because Randy said, "Can we talk about the ants in the mansion and Giant Smith robot?" I love that game so much; it was crazy. Yeah, Pathaneo was definitely fun. The giant ants were definitely off the rails, though.
They had fun with that game.
Yeah, no, they were very honest. That's what I appreciate. I appreciate the honesty about wanting to make a fun video game and not be tied into consistency of the rest of the Matrix franchise, because I think they did a good job of being consistent in the other areas while letting other world builders like Chadwick and Rarebit and the Animatrix creators and stuff build on their own the Matrix comics as well, without a whole lot of contradiction. So, or retconning, I guess is the term.
Yeah, they're not retconning anything. Not even the oligarchs.
Well, we will see. We will see if Matrix 4 allows the Matrix Online to hold up as canon. I am real suspicious about that. I definitely think there's going to be nods to the Matrix 4. Excuse me. I definitely think there will be nods to the Matrix Online in the Matrix 4. But I just got this, based on some of the things we've heard in the earlier live streams, I feel like there's a couple of things that might be like, that's a little MXO retcon. That's a little, what's that? The art gum eraser. Just erases everything.
Yeah, I don't think so. The one big thing I heard, I can already explain it away.
Wait, you can't explain it? What'd you say?
The one big thing that I heard that would retcon a big Matrix Online detail, I can already explain away.
Oh, this is a question for you. The Odd One asked, talking of podcasts, when will be the next episode?
So there are 3 people that I really want to get with and talk to and
so who you got lined up, man? You got interviews lined up, baby? Yeah.
I don't have them lined up.
Okay.
There's one person that I think I can get when I reach out to them. They seem a lot more available online. But there's DJ Sundog, which has not responded to me.
Okay.
And there's somebody else who was a big time player. Was in the LeSig program, which was basically players sponsored to not take the helm, but interact with other players on an official level.
Now, Starshore was LeSig, right?
Starshore was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have podcasted with someone else who was LeSig before.
Yes. So and now after he left the LeSig program, because it was a little too confining for him, he did his own thing, and it was big. It was like really big. He had probably 24 characters, and I did touch base with this person. They are way too busy, like 2 full-time jobs, and I'm like, hey, if you ever can do it, just let me know. I will stop what I'm doing, and we'll talk for an hour, and we'll record it. So there's those 2, and then there's somebody else that, I'm thinking might be a little bit more available because of their online activity, but we'll see. So I don't do the podcasts regularly. I do them when things come up, the interviews, but. Yeah, I got a couple other things in the work. But.
Yeah, no, keep knocking on doors. Keep reaching out to these contacts and these people that you want to interview. I mean, you've gotten some pretty cool ones already so far. But yeah, keep plugging away. I always enjoy them. I always trust your instincts in terms of who you're speaking with. Oh wow, see, yeah, it's working. So Randy Pena, thank you for the super chat. He just sent a super chat. Let's see if I can highlight this. Look, it's all green. Check it out. This is actually right. This is the first super chat. Yeah, look at that. Thank you. No, this is awesome. It says, did you guys see what I tagged you guys in that I may or may not go to one of the Matrix premieres? I tagged you guys a while back.
That's awesome.
Are you talking about Project Matriculated? Are you coming to that? Are you going to come hang out with us? Is that what you're really saying? Because that would be awesome. But yeah, you were talking about how busy one of the people you wanted to interview was, and yeah, Randy. I mean, I already told you before. Thanks for the super chat. I'm a fan of the dead mouse icon you got there, but yeah, man. I think I've decided. For me personally, like I always kind of felt like I don't know if you're into like the laws of attraction or any of that vision board kind of stuff. But I think from like a psychology standpoint, like I get it, right? And I haven't done like a vision board in a while, but I've always felt like, when you share your vision with people, when other people see the same end goal that you do, it's like, the teamwork thing. The teamwork makes the dream work. So I think I've gotten to a point where even though, just looking around with all the things that we've done here over the last 2 years, there's still a long way to go. But I just wanted to share it with you guys since, this is the first super chat. Yeah, I'd love to be able to do this like as a like real thing. So I get it that we got a long way to go, but yeah, let's see if we can get there, because that'd be like really cool. This is for you, V. He says, Vesuvius, you should volunteer for the 60 days in program, brother.
What's that? 60 days in program?
I don't know. I thought you would know what he was talking about.
Is that like in jail or something?
I hope not. I need you out here on the outside, baby.
Oh, they can't hold me.
But yeah, that's saying, speaking of teamwork, I definitely need you on the team. I cannot carry this load, this burden all alone. It is definitely a lot of work, but I appreciate you helping me out with these live streams, because, bouncing ideas off you, having this back and forth really keeps the conversation going, really keeps the energy, natural. Like, I feel like we're kind of just having a phone conversation and, letting our friends chime in. I know it's been for the most part, these are like unscripted and we just come in here and chop it up with you guys. And I'm always having a good time when Matrix University is live. He says, yeah, you can volunteer and help the COs with insider info on the inmates. Hello, Orange. I'm not going to try to say your last name. And Randy says, I would love to go to Project Matriculated. Yeah, we'd love to have you. We'd love to see you. Yeah, I guess I gotta when this is over, I'll post the links to that in the description for anyone who hasn't signed up already. But assuming that December release date holds up, that Wednesday we're planning on having a premiere party event at Club Vibe. So there's gonna be a good time. It's a nice spot. Picked it all by myself. But yeah, it's great. And you can see, I guess I'm gonna have to retweet that or something, because it's at the end of some of the videos. You guys who've been here for a while have seen the clips. But for new followers, I guess I'll retweet a clip of the video and a link, just so anybody who hasn't seen it can see what the space looks like, because it's a really nice space.
Talked about it on that last podcast.
What's that?
About Matriculated.
Oh yeah, thanks for the shout out, bro. I did hear that. That was awesome. And that you opened up with that too. I was like, man, this guy's really looking out.
Well, it's getting to be time.
This is a home stretch. No, that's why I said it. That's why I'm like, yeah, we should probably mention this every live stream from now until December.
Today's the 22nd. It comes out.
Oh, look at that!
It's also Carrie Ann Moss's birthday today, isn't it?
I think that was yesterday. Happy belated or happy birthday. Because last year I caught it on time and did I think I made a meme, or I did a post for her or whatever. But I was late this year. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, Astro Ice says your hard work is appreciated. Thank you. I know this channel has everything research, no clickbait, just straight from the source. And we appreciate you for being here, man. I mean, that's what it's all about, is just community and trusting each other, and being, like I said, crowdsourcing. Like, you guys have actually shown me a lot. I mean, Legacy Zero stopped in here. I don't know if he's still here, but Legacy Zero, the screenshot on here is from him. You know what I mean? Like the tweet, so we're doing this thing not just on YouTube, but on other social media platforms. And that's the thing. It's funny because Legacy Zero posted that on Reddit as well. And I know, V, you're like the Matrix king over there on Reddit, right? And meanwhile, I'm over here like completely Reddit illiterate. I'm the guy in the cave allegory when it comes to Reddit. So yeah, we're like connecting the dots of the Matrix community, and it's been an interesting journey these past 2 years.
We are 122 days away from the scheduled release. So today's August 22nd. It comes out on December 22nd.
All right, 4 months.
22 days.
Exactly well, I guess that's not exactly 4 months. How's that work? I
think 2 of the months have a 31st.
There you go. Yeah, the 31-day thing. Oh, Randy, thank you for the super chat. He says, let me put it on the screen. Did you see what I wrote before on comicbook.com? No. What did did you submit an article to comicbook.com? What are you talking about? Well, while we wait for Randy's answer there, shout out to Boom Art Studios. Welcome back. He says, I'd imagine we're getting some sneak peek of Matrix 4 since it's pretty much confirmed No Way Home is getting a trailer after that leak. Now, the only thing I will say is, while they are connected in terms of potential release date months, Spider-Man isn't Warner Brothers. So just because the Spider-Man trailer comes out won't necessarily mean that the Matrix 4 trailer is out. However, as you can see on the screen here, that Warner Brothers appearance or cameo at CinemaCon is looking like a candidate for a possible Matrix 4 trailer showing. So if it's shown there, it'll get to the rest of us, I'm sure, by the end of the night. Okay, so we got a little conversation going on here. Hold on. It says, so I think the MXO could possibly face retcon as if the spoilers are to be believed. The 60-year gap may play a role in an expanded universe between the events of Revolutions and MX4. And then Astra Ice says 60-year gap could allow for further adventures of original trilogy characters that aren't in M4 as currently announced. I'm thinking of someone in particular, but don't want to put it in a spoiler. And I'm picking up what you guys are putting down, and those are actually great points. That could be the strategized loophole to retconning the Matrix Online, is this supposed, spoiler alert, 60-year gap in the Matrix 4 in the real world. So that way, if the Matrix Online happened, 3 years after the movie, right? Or 4 years after the movie, whatever.
Yeah, close enough.
You know what I'm saying? You get where I'm going with this, that all that happened, and then 55 years later, what we're seeing in the Matrix 4 is happening. So that could work. That would be, like I said, a loophole that would justify Matrix 4 saying that the MXO is canon, and they're not trying to change that. I'd appreciate that kind of a nod. Yeah, no, you were definitely replying to him, but I thought you guys were on point with the discussion. Because we're just I wanted to see what Randy wrote on comicbook.com. Very curious to know. He says, I still have me and his discussion saved on his promise is still valid. Me and him made that bet years ago on his live show. So what's this bet? Hi, Marie. She says, hello, I just came in. What did I miss? You missed everything, but that's fine, because here at Matrix University, there are no points taken away for going back and watching the replay, and you can get caught up. We've got the screenshot up here that Legacy Zero sent us on Twitter about CinemaCon, which will be either Monday or Tuesday. We're not sure, but early this week, this might be something or a place, a location, a time where the Matrix 4 trailer may potentially be shown. We are not sure, but a lot of people think this has some legs. So I thought it'd be nice to share it with all of you. Also, Marie, I did see you asked me a series of questions. I didn't get a chance to get back to you, but if you follow me on Twitter or Instagram at NeoMatrixology, I definitely wanted to have that discussion with you. Just kind of give you a chance to, get those questions answered. And it's at NeoMatrixology on Instagram or Twitter, whichever you have. Legacy Zero says Matrix 4 will be a lot like the new Star Wars trilogy, letting the old cast take a backseat to the new cast. I definitely got like some passing of the torch vibes, just like covering this, right? I definitely could see that being how it plays out in that way. I don't want to say Star Wars like, because then everybody kind of just automatically assumes it's going to tank. That's not what I mean. But
well, didn't those movies do well financially?
I don't know the numbers, but they had to. I mean, first of all, they weren't streaming releases; they were in theater only. Second, I know one of them was like a Christmas release at least.
Yeah, I think they came out every other year in December.
Yeah, so and when I went, there were people in the theaters. I'm pretty sure they made a decent chunk of change. Now, this is interesting. I can't see what I missed. I mean, with these comments here, but Orange says, also, I have heard rumors that Lawrence Fishburne is in talks to return in a standalone future installment.
Boom, we're back.
No, that would be crazy, dude. I'd love to see that there's no bad blood there, though. Like, I think that would be really cool. Because
it seems a little weird to me. It seems like, come on, when you say Matrix, you hear Matrix, you probably think Green Code, you think Keanu Reeves, and you think Lawrence Fishburne. I don't understand how you can make movies with these people and then not reach out and say, listen, we are doing another one. You're not in this one. Like, come on. You got to have some kind of contact. Like, Hollywood's all about relationships. It just seems weird to me that he was never contacted.
When you say relationships, you know my theory about this. But Randy says, and that's why I said I'd like to know that there's no bad blood, because that shouldn't be something to end their relationship. But Randy said, I'll resend it to you or tag you on Instagram or Twitter. Which would you prefer? Twitter. Yeah, definitely show me that on Twitter. I'll check it out after this. Says, okay, I'll see what I can do. She says, are you guys going to the WB presentation? I'm pretty sure that this is like an invite only thing. I don't know, but I'm definitely not going to be able to go to this. I don't think that it's open to the public. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know anything about CinemaCon. When he tagged us in this tweet, that was my first hearing of it. So I'm ignorant in the ways of CinemaCon. Now, if it was a Comic-Con, that'd be different. And if it was on the East Coast, I'd be there. Right. Legacy Zero is talking about the Star Wars. They did great financially, not necessarily critically, which is what I expected. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the turn. That's what happened between the originals and the prequels that George Lucas did. What was that, 99, 98? That's when that happened. It's totally about merch and making money, and they do that. So as far as they're concerned, it's successful. And I gotta believe that Lana Wachowski is has learned from some of those Star Wars mistakes. But I do want more. I don't want it to stop at Matrix 4. And what we were talking about before, I think the quality of like streaming shows and stuff like that. I mean, even look at the Matrix comics and the Animatrix. There's just so many different things you can do in the Matrix universe that it doesn't have to go down that Star Wars path.
Well, Star Wars is getting the Animatrix treatment now. Have you seen that?
What do you mean?
They're getting like a 9-episode anime collection. Yeah, it's called Star Wars Visions. It looks freaking awesome.
News to me.
Yeah, it looks freaking really good.
And I actually saw, speaking of, there's going to be another animated Blade Runner thing.
I got to catch up on Blade Runner. When we were doing the speculation podcast, you guys were talking about Blade Runner, and I was like, oh, all right. I think I downloaded it, but never watched it. Story of my life. I can't wait till we can just download shit right into our brains.
Ooh. Yeah, Astro said, I can't imagine Lana cut out Lawrence Fishburne without a good reason. So my thing is, I just hope it's not a personal reason. I don't know what that reasoning is, but take, for example, the Hugo Weaving thing. Like, yes, there was schedule conflict. Yes, he moved his schedule around and he could have still done it, but they decided to go another way. In that particular case, because of how the trilogy ended, like, it didn't bother me, like, this idea of a Matrix 4 without Agent Smith. I know a lot of people were like, oh, you can't do it without Hugo Weaving, but like, I was like, I kind of get that. I didn't have those same feelings when I heard Lawrence Fishburne wasn't in it. I did feel like, okay, that's a little weird. But I'm not like worried about it, you know, if that makes sense.
Well, I was surprised to hear it, and I was surprised to hear that Keanu and Carrie Ann were in it. And then it's like you don't have the surviving cast. You know, even if you know, so.
Well, that's what Gina Torres said, right? Like, everybody that died is coming back, and everybody who's alive isn't there.
Yeah, and you know, I'd like to see Cypher back. I'd like to see Mouse back too. I wonder what other discs Mouse has and programs he's created that he just keeps in his little bunker in Zion.
Orange says, as far as comparing it to the new Star Wars, WB has made steps to prevent the mistakes that Disney made. We have a lot of OG people returning on staff. Yeah, man, that's a great point. I think that that's like why I'm so confident. Like, I feel like when I look at the cast and crew, there's just a lot of talent, man. You know? I feel like the original film had like a good balance between knowns and unknowns, and this one, it's more like knowns and well-knowns, but it's not the worst thing in the world, you know?
And it seems like everyone's got a small part. Like I've heard Neil Patrick Harris has a small part. Christina Ricci has a small part. So it's not like they're cramming everybody, you know. And I got to say that Avengers Endgame had, 60 superheroes in it. They all kind of had their moment. You know, the top 3 kind of overshadowed everybody, but everybody kind of had their moment. Like in this one, it's like I think everyone's just going to have their moment. Their character is going to serve their part, and we're going to go through the story. At least that's what it sounds like. Because I have paid attention to those spoilers, but I won't get too deep into it. We've done it before.
So Astro Ice says, Lana and David Mitchell and co. said that the passage of time presented opportunities, not just difficulties. So I don't think Morpheus 1.0 is gone for good.
Well, you saved me from saying it.
The odd one says those mistakes could be made by the studio, not Lana, which is fair. And that might be a reason why Lily's not involved. Possibly. I mean, this is all, random speculation. Like all the meta stuff might have been a studio thing, Oh, wow. Marie says it would have been awesome to have the actor who played Bane to play the new Smith in Matrix 4.
Yeah. Well, Smith is fluid, so he can affect anybody. Anybody can be Smith.
Randy says, I just tagged you, Neo Matrix Charlie at Vesuvius. Would you like me to tag you too?
I think I've got it. I'm refreshing now. On Twitter?
Yeah, he's talking about Twitter. Astro Ice says, I can't think of any way it could happen except hallucination scenes, but I'd love to see Cypher again. I mean, we could do flashbacks. We could do, that's what I think we had this conversation. I don't know if it was a live or what. How I'd bring back Cypher is I'd have him be an actor inside the Matrix. Like just that cameo. Like he doesn't know he was Cypher. You just see Joey Pants as an actor in the Matrix.
Oh, it'd be cool if like they show a clip of the movie Bound. Have you seen Bound?
Of course.
He cold cocked him. He cold cocked Mickey. He cold cocked him.
And I'm sure Bill Pope shot that as well. He was the cinematographer on that.
Yes, I think I did hear that through you.
So yeah, you could definitely put like the green tint on that and make it look very Matrixy. Like that would not be hard.
Yeah, like when she spills the paint bucket over to reveal the guns or the money, it's like just paint and code just spreads throughout the room.
Orange says we have Agent Johnson returning, who I think was insanely underdeveloped in the second and third film. So, spoiler alert. If you felt that way before, I think you're going to leave feeling that way again. From what I can tell, he has a very, very small cameo in this. But it is good that to see Lana reached out and had him back in it on the fly. I thought that was a cute story.
Didn't she bump into him getting
at
Slurpees getting Slurpees at the 7-Eleven, as reported by everybody who's not Neo Matrixology?
I forgot about that. Right. Everybody say, oh, they bumped into each other at 7-Eleven with hot dogs.
So for those who don't know exactly what we're talking about, everybody reported that Agent Johnson is back because Lana ran into him in a 7-Eleven. Well, the stunt, I don't know. Help me here. The place where all the stunt team go to a place called 8711.
Right, that's the name of the stunt team's company. Like basically, the guys that make the John Wick series started their own stunt team group, and that's 8711, 8711.
So that's the information that's out there, folks.
Yeah, and that's it's funny you say that because that was one of the main reasons why I started this channel. It just seems like when it comes to Matrix related internet articles, for whatever reason, there's this license to not be accurate. It's like we can just say whatever we want, and as long as it's Matrix, it's going to get clicks. So no need to background check that. No need to check the source. Just copy and paste what someone else already said and post it. And I'm like, yo, we got to fix this. This is not going to work for me. Especially once we found out that we are getting a Matrix 4. I'm like, all right, we got to have some accurate intel going on out here. And when we talk about things that may or may not happen, we try to be very honest about not knowing, or that it's alleged, or we share with you where we're getting this stuff from when we can, which is most of the time. Very little secret stuff going on here. Now, the secrecy factor that exists, I mean, that's Project Ice Cream, right? Like, that was created by, that's the culture of the non-disclosures and the actors not being able to talk about things. And, that's coming from the Warner side, not from us. Obviously, if a source says, hey, you can't put me out there because that'll jeopardize, my livelihood or, connections or whatever, of course, we're respectful to anyone in those kind of positions, but we don't get a whole lot of that here, I guess is where I'm going with it. Okay. Oh, here's a way for Cypher to return. They have Joey Pants play Cypher in the Thomas Anderson Matrix video games. Done.
See, now I'm in.
Kavion says, what about bringing back Mouse?
Yes.
So my Mouse resurrection would be in a construct. That's how I'd do that.
Mouse and the kid have to fight. That's all I'm saying.
Are we talking E Pluribus Neo kid, or are we talking Revolutions kid? Because Revolutions kids, I got my money on Mouse.
For real?
Revolutions kid, I got my money on Mouse. But if you're talking MXO kid, then I got to go with him because he's got, like he's a level 50.
Well, yeah. He, the kid went from very annoying to holding his own very well in the Matrix Online. Best character development. Of course, he started from the bottom. Very good character development. Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that.
So David said Bound is great. Loved it. I did too. I saw it before the Matrix, actually. For some of you that don't know, Wachowski's had to do Bound in order to get the green light for Matrix from Warner. So I had no idea that they were the same when I saw the Matrix. It wasn't until after that I found out that they had made both. Marie says, I agree. I'm sure I would have liked more from the upgraded agents. Agent Jackson only had importance in Enter the Matrix. Yeah, and you see, in the Matrix Online, we got Agent Gray, Agent Pace, Agent White appears in Path of Neo in a Matrix comic, so we've got some other reoccurring agents in the Matrix universe, but there's always room for new agents. Speaking of agents, Legacy Zero says he thinks Ellen Hallman is going to be an agent. That's my first hearing that.
Woo! Agent Pace.
With dark hair, though?
Oh, well, yeah. She originally had that blonde hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she could be a female agent. Agent Pace doesn't have to be the only female agent in the Matrix. In fact, in my own headcanon, I was thinking of ways to work in like other female agents, but I hadn't gotten that far yet. There
were other female agents. They were in one of the cinematics, or maybe two of the cinematics.
Really? I'm gonna have to go back and watch the. I got that one upload that has all of them together.
Cool story. I contacted Paul Chadwick, who drew those cinematics, and he actually did the storyboards for the cinematics, and somebody else finalized them. So he sent me the storyboards for this one cinematic. I can't remember which one it was. It was like 7.1. It was when Seraph came out of the aqueduct, and one of them is a female agent, and it even says like in the notes, like female agent. So there are more than just Pace.
Astro Ice says, I think Ellen Hallman will play Trinity in Thomas Anderson's Matrix video games. So yeah, so Astro's got everybody in the Anderson video game. Speaking of, I hope the video game sequences look like a modern video game, not like these cliche video games seen in some movies.
Oh, like in Grandma's Boy. That had some Matrix references.
Oh, so that's it. That had some great references. Great Matrix references in it. Like, how much do clothes cost in the Matrix?
Yes, I watched that with the wife. We both laughed at that joke, and then I replied, 6,000 information.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like doubled down if you played the Matrix Online.
Like, I don't know. What are the buffs on it?
Franz, shout out to Franz.
Hey, Franz.
It's good to see everybody. For those of you who missed it, I did explain where I've been. But yeah, if you are just joining us now, please make sure you like the stream.
We got 21 watching.
David said, so if M4 tells us that Matrix is a video game, would not that kill the trilogy? So we've definitely seen stuff. What was that? Was it the audition leak video where they're talking about the original trilogy is just video games?
I did not pay attention to any of those early spoilers. It sounded ridiculous to me. Yeah, now I wish I would have paid attention. So I don't have an answer for that.
Well, that video's still up. It's one of the old ones.
Maybe I should check it out.
And last I checked, because remember, I saved the audio, and then not long after my video was posted, all of them were deleted. In fact, no, all of them were deleted before I even posted my video. So as far as I know, that audio is the only version of the audios left on the internet. I could be wrong, but I think that's it. I think I might have saved those and been the only one to preserve them. So you can definitely check that out. And I gave my initial reactions again, especially like I said, as old as it is, and because it's audition dialogue, I don't think those lines are actually going to be in the movie, right? But I've definitely seen things since then that would suggest that it's not all wrong. Those lines might not be in the film, but that doesn't mean some of those plot points aren't. Right. I'm not going to read that one. Marie says, I kind of like the fact, if it's true, Thomas Anderson could imagine the Matrix event since he was kind of an outcast, lonely who dreamed to be someone more important in a way, a bigger life in M1. Now, what I was going to say was, it's interesting to me that I think it was that Steve Scrooge interview that we were talking about before, the Wolverine thumbnail, the Steve Scrooge Jeff Darrow. That's where he mentions in a previous version of the script that he read that like Neo had a family and everything, or Thomas Anderson, maybe his brother and his parents were referenced in the original script, right? So yeah, it's interesting because we do know from the pictures of the trailers, like the actors' trailers in Germany, that Thomas Anderson is part of the Matrix 4. His blue pill name is Blue Pill Life. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how different his profession, his blue pill profession is compared to, just being kind of this like entry level grunt at the MATRICULATED.
Well, I'm not funding any of the audition stuff from last year. That's all right. I've made it this far.
No, I'm just going to pull it up now. I have to mute that, though, because it will make noise. Okay, so right. Orange says, why would they ram the Matrix into the ground by making it a video game? He literally met the architect of the Matrix. Again, that's what I'm looking for now. I'm looking for the video that has alleged leaked audition dialogue. That's where I first heard of the, Thomas Anderson video game designer reference. And I'm getting warm. I know it's around here somewhere. There it is. Matrix 4 plot leak. Matrix 4 audition. So that was 1 year ago. But that is what the thumbnail looks like. And of course, there's a commercial. Because they always do that here. Boom. So right here is where the audio is. About 2 minutes in. Yeah, let me just remove that so you can see the title. You know what? I'll send it to you in the Discord while I have the URL here.
Thank you.
I think Fat just asked. Oh, because you tagged me so that I could see what he posted.
Yes.
Well, it tags him too, so he's like, "What do you want?" That is great. All right, so I just sent you the link to that video so you can give it a spoiler listen or potential plot leak listen if you want to. All right, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to remove, right, so you guys could see the title there. The Matrix 4 audition plot leak suspect. All right, December 17th, 2019. So that's pushing 2 years old, man. It's crazy when you think about it. Okay, so Legendary says, I just want to see Neo kick a lot of ass. Hopefully there is a good mix between lore and action. I am very curious to see how much martial arts is going to be shown in the Matrix 4. I mean, we know that Ellen Hallman's a black belt, right? And she met Lana Wachowski at 8711, not 7-Eleven at the slush machine, but on a gym mat where she was kicking somebody's butt. So I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that she's got some martial arts scenes. Jessica Henwick is probably in that boat.
Yeah, Jessica Henwick is legit from what I hear.
Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? So Game of Thrones, she was with the crew with the knives and stuff. After that, I'm going to go with Yaya because of his whole workout interview and stuff. He's probably got some martial arts action going on. But how much, Carrie Ann and Neo are going to be putting down, I'm not sure. We're going to see. Oh, so Marie says, this is a good one. By the way, could be a little spoiler. So spoiler alert. But I asked Soups, who joined us in previous live streams. She said that she asked Soups if they still use phone lines to get out of the Matrix since they're not really a thing anymore. And he said he didn't remember phones, but they use portals. So I'm wondering if that thing, remember the thing we saw in the survey about the mirror?
Yeah, the mirror, magic mirror.
So I'm wondering if that's one of these portals.
Yeah, and they saw you go through a mirror and you see red on the other side. I mean, that kind of sounds to me like the waking up in the pod. Who knows?
But like
portals.
Well,
that's cool.
But it kind of goes back to what I was saying about how I didn't like when the Wachowskis explained the usage of that mirror effect in the first one. I was like, oh, that was kind of a surprise. Like the portal thing totally makes sense to me. Oh, Astro followed up with the same thing. Cool, Maria. I'm thinking the portals are mirrors somehow.
Yeah, great minds.
Yeah. David chimed in too. I heard They use mirrors instead of phones. So yeah, we're all on the same page with that one. Yes, that's exactly what we're talking about.
Well, they use doors as well in the sequels. So code manipulation through objects, because they're not actually objects; they're code. So,
well, and yeah. That's where I was going with it. Like when I was talking about my original, I guess, connection to that effect. So like, remember we were talking about the whole like lucid dreaming thing, right? So for me, that was one of the, like, I guess, dreaming hacks that you could use. Doors, mirrors, you could definitely use them as portals to change the scene. And so I definitely feel like this usage is something that fits well to the Matrix universe, if that makes sense. Obviously now the comments are kind of getting behind me again. Ross asked, "Did you guys watch World of Geekdom's leak? Was that our last live?"
I don't know if it was our last live, but we definitely deep dived on World of Geek.
There's a live stream where we talked about every point brought up in that reposted audio. Is it still up? I heard it was taken down again.
It was, and then I think he put it back up and it was taken down again.
Right. So, yeah, knock on wood, ours wasn't taken down. We talked about what we thought about it. Yeah, so you can check that out. Let me see here. Since we're already here, how would I be able to? Can I search for that like that? Videos. It's got to be right. So the last one we're talking about, the kid. So it's got to be Matrix 4 rumors, Matrix 4 leak reaction. It's got to be that one. It's got to be that one. Yeah, because that's his icon, right? Right, that's Geekdom's icon with the lightsaber there?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so that's the one. Yeah, I like the portal sound.
It'd be interesting to see how they get around with these portals, because we don't have Keymaker. Keymaker's dead, deleted, but we don't know like what all his keys do. Where are all his keys? Are they still like? Does the Merovingian still have all those keys? He can do whatever the hell he wants with that collection.
Yeah, I got to imagine that he kept the keys. Well, okay, so the keys that were in the lair, you know what I mean? Like in the dungeon. Yeah. The keys that were on him, you know, those are lost in the wind. But yeah, he was making the Merovingian keys.
But that affects the cycle. Now, we know that Neo broke the cycle, but that key turned up in the Matrix Online, but we don't know, like it's going to have to be a whole nother side quest if he has to get back to that building and use that particular door.
Yeah, speaking of, so Marie says, so we had a new feature from the new Matrix universe even before the release of Matrix 4 and Space Jam 2, and David said they put portals in Space Jam Matrix things. So there's more of that Warner Brothers meta crossover stuff. I mean, it's almost like Space Jam 2 was first and foremost a commercial for LeBron James, and then second a commercial for the Matrix 4. Changed my mind. Legendary says, what is coming out first, John Wick 4 or Matrix 4? So as far as dates go, Matrix 4. I never rule out the possibility of a Matrix 4 delay. However, they are still shooting John Wick 4 in Berlin. I think they're still in Berlin right now. But either way, they're still shooting John Wick 4. So I'm going to guess Matrix 4 is coming out first. The odd one brings up something. Remember, Smith got access to the White Hall 2. Now, they never explained that. By then, he's multiplied himself so many times that I guess it doesn't matter. He could have copied over a program that did have access. And for all we know, the agents do have access. So it was never like a big deal to me. But yeah, it did jump out to me and Reloaded. I'm like, wait, how did he get there? He just kind of pops up.
Yeah, we don't have anything concrete, but I mean, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, the agents having access is not a stretch. It's not like that's a reach.
It's and let's see, he was not an agent, so maybe he had trouble. He had to regain access, but he did copy over an agent. I believe that agent. I was just talking about this with somebody. That agent during their first Burley Brawl copies over an agent, but then that agent comes back later in the film. I think it might have been Jackson. I don't know. I can't tell which agent's which by the actors.
But they're saying they show him later?
Yeah. I believe he shoots Trinity. That's the one that Smith copies over.
Gotcha.
So he probably phases out. But there's always the Exiles, because he more than likely copied over Exiles as well, just not the Merovingian.
Yeah, I gotta pull that up and look at that now. I never noticed that was the same actor.
I believe it is. Yeah.
I gotta check that out. Yeah.
I should give credit to the person that corrected me on that. Now I'm springboarding off that conversation.
Yeah, there's a couple different ways that can go now that we've talked about that. Legendary asks, is Smith confirmed to come back in Matrix 4? So, if you mean Hugo Weaving, we know that Hugo Weaving is not in Matrix 4. If you're talking about Smith, the character, we have reason to believe that there will be some sort of Agent Smith cameo in the Matrix 4 with a different actor. Is it a different show? We're not sure, but Kavian said, who created the agents? I'm going to vote architect. What do you think, Vesuvius?
Yeah, I think architect. Got to protect your investment.
Yeah, this is, these were first created in the first version of the Matrix. They appeared as angels.
Yes,
that would be your Seraphim, right?
Yeah, so when they referred to Seraph as wingless, he cut off his wings to, I think, defect from the Merovingian.
Marie asked, also, I was wondering, are the other continents also into the Matrix world, a fake Europe, Africa, etc.? I don't remember where we talked about this. Okay, so in the animated episode Beyond, they're clearly in Japan. Also in the Matrix comic Goliath, he is referencing London. In the Matrix 4, we have a plaque of a hovercraft that was built in Europe.
I believe so.
So we've got some evidence of other continents. Now, that hovercraft will be the real world. So yes, there are other continents in the real world. She was asking about inside the Matrix, but the Beyond example is an example of that. And so is the Goliath example. So how all that works, not really explained, but there is more than just the mega city. We can confirm that.
Well, in this version of the Matrix, or this instance, there's just the city and the mountains that we know about. And of course, there's the white hallways and probably some other secret stuff we just don't know about yet. But it's supposed to, or at least the setting of the movie is just one city. It's an unnamed city.
Okay, this is not a frequently asked question, but Jackzilla Kroll, I'm trying, because any relation to his name Justin Kroll, right? But he said, hope this isn't a frequently asked question, but when the Matrix 4 was first confirmed back in August 2019, how did you first react? This is actually a good question, and like I said, it's not frequently asked. I'm going to let you take that one first, V.
I think kind of like a slow excitement. I had started my Instagram a few months before that. Boy, I want to say about maybe 8 months before that. I started my Instagram, which was basically based on the Matrix Online, since I really missed that video game, and it's just like you can look up, the meaning of the Matrix movies and get, very good videos and explanations and discussions and everything, but there's not much for the Matrix Online. So I started doing that. It was I posted every day something, a picture and a caption and some lore and how it connects to the movies. So I had put together some merch, and once I heard about that announcement, I started pushing that merch out there. Started pushing that merch out there to see if any Matrix Online people would come back and find me and say, "Oh, well, this stuff looks pretty cool." But it's been chasing the storm ever since.
Yeah, no, you definitely turned it up. I mean, I know we had bumped into each other, but I feel like we really didn't start like kicking it heavy until after it was announced.
Oh yeah, because we started doing because that was in August, I believe 2019,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
then we started doing the speculation podcast like that October or something.
That's what I'm saying. Like when that summer we both turned up our signal boosting. You know what I'm saying? Like we both like started going in. Yeah, so for me, it's crazy because so like if you look at my channel's creation date, it's like 2008. So I started this channel so that I could post the videos that I made of the Matrix Online for my faction so they could watch it. Okay. When the Matrix Online ended, I stopped using the YouTube channel. I want to say either late June or early July of 2019. That same summer. That's when I came back and said, all this Matrix inside a Matrix crap and this, Smith is the one. I got to do something. I got to put some videos together. So I work on those videos. I post those videos. And then a couple months later, they announced the Matrix 4. Now we're in August 2019 that he asked about. So for me, when you ask how did I react, I lost my stuff. I freaked out in a good way. I was definitely excited. It was one of those things where it just felt like everything happened for a reason. Like I had picked up the YouTube channel, blown the dust off of it after, what you're talking 10, 11 years. And, the same summer that I do that, they announced the Matrix 4. So it was like a sign. It was like, okay, you really got to do this YouTube channel thing. Like now it's not, you can't just not do this. You can't have this idea and not follow through. You have to make these videos. You have to, put the effort and time into forcing the channel to grow, if you will. So here we are 2 years later. Now we're doing live streams and talking about spoilers and potential leaks and premiere party events and digital merchandise and all these things. So yeah, it's crazy. Time flies when you're having fun. Speaking of, we've been on this live stream for 2 whole hours. And meanwhile, I didn't think we had like 30 minutes worth of content. But yeah, that's why I love doing these things, because you guys come into the comments and you keep the discussion going. Like we're well beyond what we started with the back to school live here. We just wanted to give you our most recent lead on a possible potential maybe might could have a Matrix trailer this week, and why we thought that. And then the next thing you know, we're talking about Spider-Man and Star Wars and Lawrence Fishburne, Paul Rubens. I'm trying to get caught back up with the comments here. I got behind again. It says, also, the Animatrix Second Renaissance shows the Middle East. Good call. Greece, France, New York City. So just talking about other continents that are represented. Now, in that case, those are examples that are also like the other example I gave, where those are real world examples. I was talking about that hovercraft plaque, right? But yeah, I think she was asking about inside the Matrix. But either way, we have examples for both. It's a big old world. Legendary asks, kid coming back, right? I wonder we'll have power. Okay. So we did a deep dive in this in the last live stream, Matrix 4, the kid returns, question mark. So spoiler alert, I think, right, we kind of like agreed, V, that it's most likely his cameo will be a flashback.
That's my first thought. I hope it's more.
More is possible, but right now it's looking like that IMDb credit is in reference to a visual flashback. Although it could be audio if they're using his voice. Either way, they'd have to credit him because he's in what's that? The Screen Actors Guild SAG. Astro Ice says his first Matrix 4 reaction was shock, then really happy. Yeah, Marie's talking about all the continents. She says it would make sense since the machines were all over the world and the entire human race was enslaved. Now, speaking of the entire race, what's that number? You guys remember the number? I forget the number, V. What was the Matrix Online human population? Was it 200 million, 300 million?
I think it was 300 million. And yeah, it doesn't really, like, our real world population right now is over 7 billion.
Right. So that's a huge
really
downside. Well, no, I think it does work out. In fact, I think it works out most for those who challenge the solving the battery problem video, because the narrative or the line of thinking is, I believe it's the second rule of thermodynamics, which people oversimplify to you can't get out more than you put in. So if that's the case, there should be less human beings, right? After all this time, as they recycle, they've got less and less and less to work with. Yeah, I felt from that perspective, they did the right thing by having such a fractional number of the current world population.
But you got to figure the man-machine war was brutal for humans. So a huge mass, I guess, murdering casualties of war. But billions though.
Now let's just do some, well, I'm not going to say quick and dirty math, but just think in terms of proportionally speaking, if there's only 300 million people connected to the Matrix, and some of those people inside the Matrix are on other continents, i.e. Europe, Japan, United States, Australia. So of that 300 million people, think about how many people inside the Matrix are actually non-playable characters. I mean, you're talking about majority of the world inside the Matrix would be NPCs.
I'm not sure I follow.
So right. So in the Matrix Online, we've got, in the real world of the Matrix Online, 300 million people hooked up to participate inside the Matrix, right? Blue pills, jacked in.
Yep.
But to Marie's question, when they're jacked in, those 300 million people are spread out over 7 continents. Right now, 7 billion people are spread out over 7 continents. So if the Matrix is facilitating these simulated realities or these simulated cities, these simulated countries on these simulated continents, then the rest, after that 300 million, the rest of the 7 billion are NPCs. So I don't know the difference off the top of my head. It was at 6.7 billion NPCs.
Yeah, I get you. Okay, I get you.
That's a lot.
So
That's a lot of non-playables, man.
Well, okay. So my counter argument there would be, in this instance of the Matrix, there are 300 million people in this unnamed city. and that is it. They really are don't. They're kind of cut off to the rest of the world, and the only hole that I can find for that logic is Morpheus was spotted in Heathrow Airport.
Right. So you've got international references in the first Matrix film in terms of Morpheus's locations with those news clippings, right? But what I was going to say is, so your counter is that in the Matrix Online, everyone's in Megacity or the mountains.
Everyone's in the mega city. Only the Merv is in the mountains. But that's my idea.
So my counter to that is I can't believe I'm saying this. There's only 8 million people in New York City. So 300 million in one city, that's a big city. Now you've got the international district in downtown, and it's burrowed out, right? But still, that's a lot of people from one spot.
That'd be pretty dense. Yeah. So what do we got? 300 in just what, the United States?
Yes, correct.
All right. So that probably makes some sense.
I'm behind the comments again. Hold on a second, so you can catch up here. Right. Asher says, if I hadn't liked Lana's work on Cloud Atlas and Sense8, I would have been worried about Matrix 4. But since I like her other work, I was excited. Let me read the next one first. If I'd only seen poor Jupiter Ascending in Speed Racer, I'd have been very worried. So the first half I agree with. Although what I was going to say is that Cloud is still very long. I enjoyed it, but it took me like a good 2 or 3 sittings to get through it all uninterrupted. That was the biggest problem for me, was just being able to sit and watch it without interruptions. Speed Racer, I didn't mind. I mean, I also had seen the original cartoon, so my expectations, I think, were very tempered. I thought visually it was a live action cartoon. I think that's what it was supposed to be. But yeah, Jupiter hurts me when I think about it sometimes. Randy says keep the video going. We're trying, but yeah, we're past 2 hours, so we're probably gonna have to wrap it up shortly.
Yeah, I got a few more minutes.
Yeah, Astro said I needed a distraction tonight, so I'm really glad class was on tonight. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, I got a couple things to do this week. And Legacy Zero had tagged us in this tweet, so I wanted to, I couldn't like justify a video around that, but live conversation just to share it with you guys made the most sense. So I'm glad we got a chance to squeeze in. Thank you, V, for making time on a Sunday night. Okay, so he said, before I forget, I know it's an odd question, but could we hold the Matrix classes a bit earlier? I'm from Germany and it's 5 a.m. now. I can't make any promises. A lot of times we don't schedule these more than the day of. I mean, it's usually like, hey, V, what are you doing? I'll be around later. Okay, let's go live. Like, I'd love to be able to tell you that, all right, we'll do a live Wednesday at 2:00, but the way things have been very crazy this summer. We have done daytime lives. It's not like they don't exist. So there will be one in the future at some point, but what day, when, who knows? So yeah, just stay tuned. And again, if you guys miss them live, I get it. You can't ask questions in the comment, but you can always watch the playback, and there will always be future lives. So don't fret. Legacy Zero says, I was going to say Brian J. Smith was going to take the kid role, and then boom, Clayton. So the only reason why, well, not the only reason, I didn't really think of that, but I didn't think of that because in the San Francisco leaked footage, we've got that photo of Brian J. in the military fatigues. Or I guess it's that military fatigue colored jacket. I'm not sure if it was an actual camo jacket, but it's, you know what I mean? It's that very green. And remember we zoomed in on the picture. Remember we tried to blow up the picture to see if those were dog tags he was wearing?
Yeah, and I speculated it might be something similar to what Kryptos wears. But I originally thought the same thing for Brian J. Smith. Just kind of fits that profile if you're going to recast from the staff that was released at the time. And I'm putting the shaped peg in the other shaped hole there, but I'm trying to make it fit and bring the kid back. And yeah, Brian J. Smith could just kind of fit.
So you need some WD-40. You got to lube that thing up. Marie says it's crazy the coincidence about the kid interview and a few days later the IMDb update. Absolutely. If anybody hasn't, seen it, we did get to ask Clayton Watson some questions. So there's a video up. Do I have those still on the screen here? Here it is, right here. The Clayton Watson interview. So check that out if you haven't already. I wonder if animals still exist outside of the Matrix. So if you check out we're on it. Where is it? It's in here somewhere. That was a while ago. Animatrix episodes. Right, because I started with Matriculated. There it is. Boom. So if you check out the Animatrix Matriculated video, Peter Chung talks about I believe they're called tarsiers, the little monkey that's in the real world. So his thought process was because the sun was blocked out, that nocturnal animals would thrive in that world. But in that particular Animatrix episode, we do see an animal that's not human in the real world. I don't know that we get any other examples of that, like in the comics or anything, though.
I think just rats.
Yes, and maybe squirrels. Did they eat squirrels in the or maybe it was rats?
Miller's tail.
I'm sorry.
Miller's tail.
Not Miller's tail. That's bread. The one with the crazy old man.
Sort of a different color.
There you go.
Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, they were talking about eating like bug paste and like I think maybe you were right. It might have been rats instead of squirrels, but some type of rodent-y meat. Why can't I find it? There you go. Sort of a different color right there. Oh man, I'm behind on the comments again. Oh, okay. So this is Randy's crazy theory to blow everybody's mind because every theory has to be mind-blowing. Are you ready? John Connor equals Neo equals Superman equals Jesus. So that's Randy's chain of theory. Yes, and I do see the John Connor has the Immaculate Conception and all those parallels do exist. Oh, David says it's hard to find Matrix fans and podcasts here in Colombia. You guys, please keep on doing this. Yes, no, absolutely. Like I said, we had a technical difficulty hiatus as well as some real world craziness going on. But colleges, high schools, schools take a summer break. So this summer we had a little break, but that was another point of emphasis for this live stream is that we are back and the new machine is feeling good now. So there will be more. Stay tuned. Yeah, Brian J was my favorite from Sense8. He said super awesome. Yeah, he did a great job in that. I don't know that I thought about a favorite of that cast. I think as far as the 8 go, he was certainly like one of the top 2 main characters. Like I feel like his storyline, with Joey Pants playing his father and all that kind of took like, I guess, a center priority over some of the other stories of the 8s. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite. I did really like the Wolfgang character. I thought that was different. Well, all right. I think at this point, I'm going to have to end class for tonight. But I do thank you guys for coming out and hanging out with us yet again. Hopefully, we will be talking about a Matrix 4 trailer in the next one. But again, we're just sharing the information that Legacy Zero tagged us in. So there's no guarantees. We're just trying to crowdsource this information and keep everybody in Matrix University in the loop here. But even if we don't get it this week, you can count on us discussing it and breaking it down frame by frame when it does come out. Yeah, that's going to happen. So is there anything you wanted to plug before we go here?
I got that Matrix Online Ability Tree poster. You can order a print or digital download, and keep checking out my Instagram because I'll have a fan fiction voiceover, pretty interesting short little story soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna tweet the Project Matriculated link when we get off here. But again, please make sure you guys like the stream on the way out if you didn't on the way in. And thank you guys for supporting the channel and participating in Matrix University, taking the yellow pill with us, tracking things back to the source, and yeah, class dismissed.